Hello guys, we're currently in Great Yarmouth. We're finally going to CEX for the first time in about a month and a half because they actually have a game I need. Welcome to PS2 Mini Games.
PS2 Mini Games.
Hello everyone, welcome to PS2 Mini Games. Hopefully you can hear me, it's a bit of wind in the background. As stated before, we're off to CEX Great Yarmouth because they've got a game that's not only reasonably rare, but actually kind of expensive. Between like £30 and £40, and it's the first physical copy I'm ever going to see in person. So this was actually a must get today game because I don't think it's going to be there for long. Problem is because it's not classed as a rarity, I don't know if it's got a manual or not, so we shall investigate that. But yeah, we shall investigate thoroughly. While I'm in Great Yarmouth, I'm going to show off something that I think I mentioned in the past before. You see this massive wooden building? This is the new quote-unquote market, right? Now, this wooden building cost the council £10 million. Now, considering Great Yarmouth's in the top 10, easily top 20 most deprived places to live and poorest places to live, they spent £10 million. That's me kicking the thing, by the way. £10 million on this monstrosity. Firstly, wood, right? Wood costs a lot of money these days, so they waste a lot of money on like building materials. Secondly, it was not needed. It really wasn't. I mean, it does look cool, I'll give them that, and the people who actually work here have their own little stands. They've benefited, but this is one of those things where it's like the minority made the choice for the majority and they got it horribly wrong. By the way, for full clarity, today is Wednesday, and Wednesday in Great Yarmouth Day is market day, so a lot of these are temporary stands. So there has been occasion a game stand, but I haven't seen him for a while, so he's probably not here. But to be fair, the marketplace, you can get some decent stuff here for decent prices, as long as you know what's real, what's not, what's fake. You understand that. Another thing they've spent money on in Great Yarmouth, and if I can get a wording, says about JCB walking down the road, or even driving even, that is now our new library. I'll tell you one thing though, when a Greg's shuts down, tough times. I've never seen a Greg's shut down before. Interesting. That actually show you how poor Great Yarmouth is. Actually, there's a sign. Oh, it's a temporary closure. Oh, they must be updating. But that makes more sense, because I've never ever been past this place where that place isn't packed. Anyway. Well, that was an incredibly successful trip. I got the item I needed, and you'll see it out in about 10 minutes time, I'm guessing, depending on how much editing I do. Hilarious, I know. I will say one thing, and I mention it all the time. Great Yarmouth CEX, which is a franchise, by the way, so random person owns it and paid CEX, blah, 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 blah. What I found and noticed, Great Yarmouth CEX is one of the best CEXs I go to. It really is. What I've noticed from the list I've been given by a friend who works at CEX is the franchises tend to be better maintained than the actual shops owned by the company. For instance, Great Yarmouth and Norwich, as I understand it, are both franchises, whereas Kings Lynn and Lowestoft are actually owned by the company. And Kings Lynn's quality control is just not there. I've had no bad times in Lowestoft for quality control, but I have heard. Good Lord. Sometimes I speak too fast. I have heard interesting conversations from the staff members at Lowestoft talking about anti-vaxxing, and when I heard that, I was like, okay. And that's one of the main reasons I have not been back to Lowestoft CEX in like a year and a half. That is an incredibly small store, and there's nothing I need. That also makes a big difference. Anyway, we're going to throw it back to the games room, but I'm going to put a commercial in right now, and I will see you on the other side, guys.
Yeah, I remember that day. 32 against 2. Slow day for yours truly. I'll let Jack handle these lurkers. Once in a while, I throw him a bone. Yeah, I let him have these ones too. He's been a little rusty, so
Hi, Jack.
Hey. I was just talking about you.
A new legacy is born, ready for everyone.
Hello guys, welcome back to the games room. You might notice some changes in this video, or VOD as the youngsters would call it, I suppose. Firstly, we are now recording at 60 frames per second. What does that actually mean? So we've been recording at 30 frames per second since the start of this channel, so the video has always looked the same. More frames, better movement. Looks more real life movement, supposedly. But it will probably come across a lot more cleaner than before. Also, you might notice microphone. As I stated in the live episode from last week, the phone is starting to get some issues with the sound. So instead of buying a cheap microphone this time, I actually bought a reasonably expensive microphone this time. Hence, hopefully, and I'm really hoping for this because it's cost me quite a bit of money for a microphone, that is, this is going to come across quite clean and better sounding than the old episodes have before. If it doesn't, then I've just wasted quite a bit of money. Anyway, getting back to Great Yarmouth CEX, it is one of my favourite CEXs to go to because every time they have something in stock, it's always of good quality, minimum good quality, very good quality control at Great Yarmouth CEX, and it's a franchise. So what I've learned from CEX is, basically, for the list I received from a friend, the franchises usually have better quality control than the actual stores owned by the company. It's weird, but it's true. Especially for the local ones, I have learned that. And the local ones, it has proven to be quite correct, because Norwich and Great Yarmouth's quality control is better than most. And the game I got today, it's actually in very good condition. Why did I drive all the way to Great Yarmouth for one game? Simply put, this game is never in stock at CEX. And the irony that it finally gets back in stock and it gets back in my local CEX, that is amazing luck, you have no idea. To put it in context, when I bought this game at Great Yarmouth, once again, no stock, because I checked online. This was the only version of this game in their files for the whole country. Breaking down mentally, help, tag in someone.
Huh?
So I was very ecstatic to pick this up because I've been looking for this for some time. It's one of those games where it's not expensive, well, not super expensive. It's like mid-range suspense, but it's so hard to find. You have no idea. Which reminds me, the next episode will basically be me going through what defines rarity. How can I put this? I would like to do an episode, and I will be doing an episode on what actually is the rarest game in my collection. We'll go into depth next time on that one, but this could be a contender at the moment, it really could, and I'll explain why. But anyway, future episodes, Obviously, I will be hopefully attending the Norwich Retro Game Market again on the 26th, which I believe is a bank holiday Monday. I'll be doing that again. Hopefully, if I plan it, I'll also be hitting up all the other stores in Norwich. Good Lord, another mental breakdown. Jesus Christ, I'll be hitting up Norwich CEX. I haven't been there some time. And obviously, I'll be hitting up Last Level Games because it's one of my favourite stores. So hopefully that'll be an eventful day. CX Roulette, I need to decide what I'm going to pick games-wise. Obviously, paying $2.90 every time for deliveries kind of sucks, but sacrifices are going to be made pretty much in the coming months because I need to find the games. I will say I got a good response from the live episode for those who watched it for my rough choice for next consoles I will be collecting for, because it's either going to be Dreamcast, N64, or the PS3. That's what it's come down to. Or I might do two of the three at the same time. And I've had quite the responses for my declaration of intent. Look at the vernacular in this episode. We rolling today, boys.
I am too smart. I am too smart. I am too smart. I am too smart. S-M-R-T. I mean S-M-A-R-T.
I've had quite a bit of love for the PS3. Very little love for the N64. You know, when people like criticise that, it makes me want to do it more. I think I'm the only person who actually enjoys the N64 for what it was. Yes, it wasn't a great console. We can all fully admit that. But the amount of amazing games on that console for such a limited console is fantastic. I mean, Super Mario 64 did define 3D platformers. Ocarina of Time is usually considered one of the best, if the best, Legend of Zelda games. I prefer Link to the Past, just saying. And there was other games that is memorable. Obviously, Mario Party, all three games. The game which broke friendships. And also the game which broke your hand. Oh my god. Paper Mario, that's where the Paper Mario franchise began. Obviously, the original N64 Paper Mario is fantastic. I never played it on the N64, but I played it on the Switch. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door is the best Mario RPG there is. You can fight me on that. And then it went downhill after Super Paper Mario when they stopped making it. They changed the way games get made. And it's like, since Sticker Star, it's just been awful. It really has. Some people are getting upset with that theory, but it's how I feel. I will admit I am getting close to having to build like another unit because the units I have now are getting near the maximum capacity because I'm slowly getting the platinums back on the platinum stand. So I'm probably going to basically build a self-made unit, measure out from roof to this, attach it to the top, so it literally goes from top to bottom. That's probably what I'm going to do because that will probably hold, if I can get 2 shelves from top to bottom, that will hold about 150 games, which will obviously get us closer to the full collection. And what concerns me afterwards is where I'm going to put the second collection for the new console. That is of great concern. That's a future me problem, so I might just cop out from that. But the room's only as big as it can. You can't make the room bigger. I can't afford that kind of luxury. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Let's just go through the game I got from Great Yarmouth CEX. So this game did cost me £38. Obviously came with manual. The disc is in relatively good to great condition. Not perfect, but most PS2 games aren't. It's made by Curry, one of my favourite developers for the PS2. I will say the case has got a bit of issues, but you can change cases. I've got spare cases, but Colosseum Road to Freedom is one of the hardest games I've had to find. And the fact that this came in at my local CEX was incredible. Honestly, and I can't emphasize this enough, because obviously you can put email me if something comes into stock for CEX. You do a lot of that, and they will. And when I got the memo that it came in, and it came in at my local CEX, literally we just got in the car and went. But as you can see, the case itself, honestly, it feels like someone's been nibbling at the ends. That nibble plastic feel. I'm gonna have to check. It's not actually. I gotta put this. Bear me a second. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, it's just the case then. Okay, good. Because I was worried it's actually the actual sleeve itself, but the sleeve is in fantastic condition, and it's not a reproduction sleeve. You know what I mean? But £38 pay for this. I'll get into the next episode, but the fact that the £38 game was about 10 times harder to find than a game that costs about 400 quid should tell you the... I'll get into the next episode, because I've had a theory about this for a long time, what is actually rare for PS2, because it's all over the fucking show. Honestly, as I stated, some of the shovelware is harder to find than some of the expensive games, and it makes no sense until you put some real thought into it. But once again, we'll get into that next episode. I don't know how long I'll do just one episode a week for. I plan to get back to 2 episodes, but that's pretty much until I get back in the groove. I want to see how this episode comes out with the microphone upgrade and the 60 frames per second. I want to see how it comes out, because it's looking quite smooth. But I'm not used to recording 60 frames per second, so it's going to catch more... Like, things are going to be noticeable. Movement's going to be far more noticeable than it has been in the past. Some people might not like that. But with a fixed camera, it's going to be a lot better. But obviously, I want to keep improving the channel. That's the whole concept. Always keep improving. Never regress. Always progress. Fucking it. Yeah, the vernacular this week, guys. The vernacular. I will say I'm a friend of the channel, Game Rarities. I'll spice that in. He has put games aside for me again from Australia. So we're going to have an Australian episode soon. Friend of the channel, Jonathan Neil Smith, who I bought a lot of expensive games off late last year. He's got games for me again. So deals are being made. And we're still chugging along to 2,000 by the end of the year. It's going to be nip and tuck, because we're already into May. Getting £160 in the next 7 months is going to be quite hard. I'm going to have to basically just keep ordering online games I need. Going to have to keep searching, grooving, and I'm getting a lot of help from people constantly showing me games like, you haven't got this, you haven't got this. At the end of the day, guys, once again, I can't make this any more potent of a statement. If I don't have the money at the time, I can't buy it. It's all about money. Apart from one, all the Swap Shop Retro Chef parcels have been received apparently. So, except for the man himself, if you're watching this, I've got sidetracked. I will send the parcel out. Trust me. Just give me a little, because things are happening in real life. Damn, that's real life. That's pretty much it for this makeshift episode. Once again, we'll get to that point with CEX. If it's a game I really want, it just comes to stock in my local, we get in the car. If I'm not working, that is. And we go in that day. Because the search for games is getting very hard. And when I finally had to start searching for the foreign games and the games not at CEX, the games that CEX don't dispense, if you will, that's going to be really hard. Obviously, Monster Egg is always going to be the most expensive game to find. I think you still look on eBay, you still got to pay multiple thousands for that game. You see, people say, people who ask, why would you go to a second console before you complete this? Because if you get to a point where I've done the one game to find, it's going to cost me $6,000. I'm going to start looking for other things while doing that. Because I'm going to have to be saving for about 3 years. Yeah, $6,000 you say? Let me just get that out here. Yeah, I'm not Richie Rich. $6,000. Jesus. So to summarise, the future is still bright for the channel. Things are still reasonably positive. And I will continue until I get to the point where either I hit the wall that is PS2 library, I lose my goddamn mind, or we actually complete the set. Or I have a massive heart attack. One is going to happen. Please, not option 4. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please comment and subscribe. Once again, I don't know if it's coming out Thursday or Sunday. We'll see who edits this and how fast we edit it. If it's me, it probably will come out Thursday. If it's Dave, who takes his time and does the editing correctly, it's Sunday. That's how we're going to roll. And thank you for watching, guys. See you later. Bye. By the way, I say guys most of the time because 98% of us are male. We're down to 2% females, which is still far better than most channels for gaming collection. So if you are the 2%, ladies! Anyway, have a good evening, guys. Thank you very much. Bye.